Hi everyone. Surprise, surprise. Look who is here. Look who is early. I was going back and forth. I'm like, do I want to record something or do I want to jump on live real quick? I decided to jump on live real quick. So, welcome everyone to the Quest Show. Yes, I know it is not Thursday, but the debate is on Thursday, so I can't be on Thursday. Also, this is, I wouldn't call it a special day, but this is the 2-year anniversary since Trump ended Roe. As you can see by the hashtag scrolling across the screen right now. So, anyway, I don't have anything written down. I'm not necessarily prepared. However, I did want to come on because I felt like it's very important to talk about the impacts of these abortion bans 2 years in, right? Like 2 years in, it's just a mess. It is messy. And I definitely wanted to come and talk about it, especially because we're coming upon November's elections, and you have folks out there, oh boy, the economy. And it's like, oh God, you're so sick and tired of hearing about the economy because the economy is doing so well. It's like people are just at this point conditioned to complain because jobs are out here, wages are up. Yes, there is some inflation. I get that. But y'all out here partying, buying name brand shoes, flying because flights are down. So people are like taking vacations all over the place. Gas is down. So people are driving and taking road trips. So it's like, which one is it? It just really doesn't make any sense. And if you are so concerned about the economy, then you should be very concerned with an administration that is going to ban abortion, also known as medical care, because it is medical care nationally. So imagine someone forcing you to have another mouth to feed. So you think you're out here complaining about the economy now. Imagine not being able to decide when you want to start your own family. So that's what I want to talk about today. Not the economy right now, because again, we are 2 years status post the end of Roe, and I just wanted to talk about it. And I wanted to read just some of the impacts that I have been bookmarking over the past 2 years, and just the people that I'm about to read about. This isn't end all be all, right? There are women that are being impacted and families that are being impacted that are not even talking about their experiences right now. So we don't even know. But I do want to read a few. So give me a minute because I am going to be looking down a lot, which kind of sucks when you're doing a podcast because it's like, what's wrong with you? Look up. But that's what I'm going to be doing because, again, I didn't really prepare and this was last minute. So 2 years ago, Trump ended Roe. We'll start there. And this is a quote: "The likelihood of the baby surviving was negligible. Even if it did survive to term, it would be unlikely it would survive through labor." Kelly Shannon and her husband were excited when she found out she was pregnant. They had been trying for a second child. Excitement to heartbreak after testing revealed there was swelling in the head and body wall, a heart defect, and a tumor on the abdomen that was about 1/3 the size of the fetus growing inside of her. A report from her physician confirmed the doctor had conveyed the high likelihood that the findings may lead to an intrauterine demise of the fetus due to heart failure or neonatal demise. So, due to the medical conditions of Shannon's fetus, her physician believed the hospital would provide her with abortion care, despite Alabama law prohibiting abortions at all stages of pregnancy. Right. So the doctors figured because of the severe condition of the fetus and the likelihood that it would die inside of her, the doctor just knew that Alabama would make an exception for Shannon. Shannon and her husband filled out the necessary paperwork. The abortion had to be approved by several hospital committees. So just imagine you heard this devastating news about your fetus. You were so excited when you found out that you were pregnant. Now, because the fetus is not going to survive, instead of this being this quick procedure between you, your spouse, and your medical doctor or your medical team, now Shannon and her husband are filling out necessary paperwork because it has to be approved by all of these different committees, the ethical committee, the law division of the hospital, all of these things. Meanwhile, she knows that a baby is not going to come out at the end of all of this. Stop for a moment. You have devastating news about your pregnancy, and you have to fill out paperwork and let strange, non-involved parties make decisions impacting your entire life. Her physician had to give out the devastating news. One committee approved the medical procedure, but a higher committee denied it. That's Alabama. Not only did this impact Shannon, it impacted her physician, who called her husband immediately distraught. Shannon eventually had to drive out of state to have the medical procedure. So, right? So now just the lives, not doctors, their hands are tied. They want to do this. They want to help these women, but they don't want to lose their careers and their medical licenses. They don't want to be put in jail. Hell, Republicans are calling for the execution of these women. But Alabama, Kay Ivey said that she prayed for the end of Roe. Alabama may have a sewage problem. People in Lowndes County, Alabama, got sewage backing up in their yards. But you know what? Thank God Almighty, women are made to suffer who need medical care and abortion. Kay Ivey got her wish. Vote, right? Let's just take a pause and see how this all started. Who's to blame for this? Let's see.
But do you believe in punishment for abortion? Yes or no, as a principle?
The answer is that there has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah, there has to be some form.
10 cents, 10 years.
I don't know. That I don't know. That
Why
I don't
not?
know.
Shannon was punished. He's doing what he said. There's got to be some type of punishment. I mean, these women are being punished before they get an abortion. These women are being punished for needing an abortion. These women are being punished for wanting an abortion, not even for having one. So if they're being punished like this for wanting or needing, they're going to jail if they have one, if you're in a Republican state, or if Trump becomes president and bans it nationally, because that is what he's going to do. They're going to lie to you now because that's what they do. They're up for election. Why wouldn't they hide from this? Why wouldn't they wipe their websites clean and not talk about this? They don't want to talk about it because they're on the losing side. But just look at it. Just think about it. They're on a losing side of abortion. They would rather sweep their websites clean, lie about it, than to actually get on the right side. How crazy is that? They still won't get on the right side. They still won't say, you know what? Let me rethink this because I have daughters, because I have a wife. Nope. No, they just won't talk about it. Let's read another story, shall we? I mean, because there's tons of them. So let's read another one. Let's see. Here we go. Asked what she was looking forward to about being a mother, the child said nothing. Like that was her answer, nothing. When she was asked what she wanted to say to other little girls, she said, "Be careful when you go outside and stay safe." A Mississippi 7th grader was raped outside of her home while she played outside. No one knew she was pregnant until she became violently ill and was taken to the emergency room. The only option for an abortion was to drive 9 hours to Chicago. Before Dobbs, her parents could have gone to Memphis, 2 hours away. The family was not financially stable enough to take time off from work and stay overnight in Chicago. So a virtual baby was forced to give birth to a baby. Yeah. Yeah. Imagine that. Pro-life people. Imagine that. 7th grader. She's probably 8th grade now with a 1-year-old. She's a baby. So forced by some person who raped her. So forced to have sex. Traumatized by that. Didn't tell anyone. Forced to continue to carry and deliver. So her body is going through all of the changes that grown women have difficulties going through. Your organs getting smushed, your uterus is growing, and your breasts are getting tender, your hormones are all over the place. Maybe you're throwing up, smells make you sick, you have weird cravings, you get cramps, your feet swell. This is a kid. This is a kid. When does she heal? Her mind, her body, her soul. Every day, that child is re-traumatized because it now has a child of its own. In Mississippi, was this Tate Reeves? They didn't even want to feed children for the summer. They declined, help from the federal government to feed children over the summer. They didn't want the free meals. Pretty sure this child could stand some free meals. I mean, is she working? She's still in school. So now you have more bodies on the system, right? Like now you have, this is like taxing to the welfare system, is taxing to the healthcare system when you're forcing people to do this because now someone else on public assistance. She can't work. She didn't even graduated. She needs health care. Her baby needs health care. She probably needs counseling, but she ain't going to get that. Not in Mississippi. Yeah, another impact of Trump's abortion ban. You have children, and this is her. Imagine how many we don't know about, right? She was a seventh grader. There was the teenager that was in Florida who petitioned the court. She appealed because she couldn't get one, and she appealed it, and then they denied her on appeal, and she had stating or citing that she wasn't mature enough to get an abortion. She had to leave the state, and she begged the court, I want to stay in school. They said, you're not mature enough for an abortion. Don't let anyone tell you that, oh, there are exceptions. Those are the Russian bots telling you that, because there are no exceptions. And even if there were, once again, why is the government or your lawmakers making those decisions on a case by case? Why do women have to go in front of some man or some committee and beg for the medical care that they need while the man just makes their decision? The pen, yay or nay. Let's read another one, because again, there's plenty. And before we read it, let's hear about the reason that we're here. Let's read it. He wants to take the credit, so let's give him the credit.
Rights, especially since I was proudly the person responsible for the ending of something that all legal scholars, both sides, wanted and, in fact, demanded be ended. Roe v. Wade. They wanted it ended. It must be remembered that the Democrats are the radical ones on this position because they support abortion up to and even beyond the 9th month. The concept of having an abortion in the later months and even execution after birth, and that's exactly what it is. The baby is born, the baby is executed after birth, is unacceptable, and almost everyone agrees with that.
You know what's unacceptable? His burnt skin. That is unacceptable. Y'all should be pissed off. This rapist is telling women what, one, is unacceptable. This rapist is telling girls, so what if you're raped? I'm going to give the rapist all the power over you. You deliver its child. So now the rapist has what, joint custody with the child, with the baby? Yeah, rapists got to stick together. Let's just normalize rape. Apparently, it's okay. Because in Florida, with their fucking 6-week ban, with their exceptions for rape and incest, so with the rape, you have to report it within a certain amount of time. 2 doctors have to examine you. There's like all these hoops that you have to jump through just for them to consider it. What child is doing that? If a child is raped, there's no time limit on you telling someone or you thinking that you can share something like that. You were just violated. And now you're saying, well, you got to get to us quick. You got 2 days to get to us from the time that you were raped. You need to tell us and file a police report. That's not how that works. It was a violation of your body, of your mind, of your very being. You don't just recover from that. It's not something that just happens. I know. It takes years, sometimes before you can even share that with the closest of the people that something like that has happened. There's shame. There's what could I have done? There's blame. You're blaming yourself. And that's an adult. So you think a child is just going to go and tell? We listened to Hadley on Morning Joe, where she was a victim of rape at 12 years old, and you're going around speaking for the Democrats in favor of abortion, in favor of options and choices, because she was raped by her stepfather at 12 years old. She didn't tell her mom until years and years and years later. It just doesn't happen like that. Republicans are a lie. Trump is like the devil. Scholars didn't tell him shit. And then the other lie that Republicans love to tell, they just love this lie. Democrats are that want an abortion up to the very last month. A matter of fact, when the baby comes out, they said execute. Like, who's believing that? That's fucking nonsense. As much as Republicans want to put women in jail, you think they're going to jail women who kill babies after they're born? This doesn't fucking make sense. What are they doing that? Snatching it from the doctor and like, give me that baby, I'm going to kill it now? That's fucking stupid. Like, so stupid. Are there late-term abortions? Yes. Are they rare? Very rare. There are some tests that cannot be done until the third trimester, until very late. And if that fetus has no chance of survival, you should have options. You should not have to be a walking coffin. No one should be forcing any woman, anyone, to carry something dead and rotting inside of their body. No one should be forced to bleed out. Oh, you're starting to miscarry? Sorry, there's nothing we can do because, any procedure can be looked at as an abortion. So I'm sorry, just go to the parking lot, stay out there. And then when you get really, really sick, then you can come in, right? This is what women are going through. Miscarrying, parking lots of the emergency room, hair salon bathrooms. In their bathrooms, remember the woman in Ohio? She miscarried, wanted an abortion, didn't feel well, started to miscarry. Hey, can someone help me? Nope. Kept sending her home, miscarried in her bathroom in her house, got scared, because what do you do with it? What do you do with that? What do you do with all those tissues and clumps of cells? What do you do with that? She tried to flush it. I would too. Like, literally, what are you doing with that blood and tissue and stuff? What are you going to do with that? You flush it, then it wouldn't flush. So then she tried to plunge it. Then I guess someone from the hospital had said that she was pregnant and what was going on. So the police went to her house, found out that she miscarried in the toilet. What do? They try to indict this woman. They press charges. She was being mean to a corpse. It wasn't a corpse. But you know why they call it a corpse? Those cells and tissues of nothing? Because they keep saying that embryos have personhood, that embryos are people too. That damn embryo, can't claim it on your taxes or nothing. You can't do nothing. You can't get food stamps for your embryo, that's for damn sure. You can't, it's just nothing, but it is a person. Republicans suck. I mean, I listened to a Republican. I think he was a lawmaker, or maybe he's running for office. I'm sorry, like I said, I didn't plan for this. I just want to pop on, and now I'm like rambling. He's running for office, and his girlfriend or wife had gotten an abortion, but he didn't want anyone else to get one because they were asking him, was it her choice? Yes, it was. Did you support her choice? Yes, I did. So you don't want other women to have an abortion? No, I'm pro-life. What's good for me is not good for thee. Let's read another one, shall we? You know, there's plenty. Let's see. She ran out of the room and my heart sank, Miranda said. I knew something was wrong. Spines were twisted. Organs were hanging out of their bodies or hadn't developed at all. 0% chance of viability for either twin. Texas abortion laws make no exception for lethal fetal anomalies. So let's back up a little bit. When Miranda found out she was pregnant again, she was happy to be back in Texas among her close-knit family. She and her husband Levi always planned to have another child, or maybe it's not her husband, I'm not sure, her partner. Miranda soon found out that it wasn't a blessing to be pregnant in Texas. She struggled to get an appointment with an obstetrician. A nurse practitioner told her she may be having twins. This pregnancy felt unfamiliar, so she went to the emergency room in Texarkana, half an hour away, where she learned there were 2 fetuses, and they might be conjoined, developing in the same amniotic sac. By the time she found a specialist 3 hours away and got an appointment, she was 4 months. 0 chance of survival. The specialist left the room. A few minutes later, the nurse came back and handed them a Post-it note with the name of an abortion clinic in New Mexico. The fetuses had a heartbeat. So Texas said, fuck your feelings, fuck your emotions, fuck your health, fuck your pain, fuck your trauma. She couldn't afford to leave the state. There were no other options. So fast forward. This is a quote from the mom. And then as one, they exhaled. There was no miracle. The diagnosis was right. These babies would not survive. Born and died August 9th, 2023. So she delivered twins to bury her twins. That this is what's happening. Like, these are real stories. I can't imagine the trauma. I can't imagine the trauma. Not even 1, but 2. Doctors told her they're not going to survive. Texas does not care. She watched her baby suffer to breathe before they even died. Now she's got to bury them. So now she's got hospital bills, and then she has to bury her twins. Name, bury twins. This is where we are, folks. This is red state drama. This is not, sorry, it's my dog. This is going to happen everywhere if Trump gets elected. It's not going to just be a red state problem. It is going to be a red state problem. It is going to be a blue state problem. And not only that, they're going to take away birth control. That's on the list. Plan B, birth control. It's all on the list. They want America to be this Christian 10 commandments in coffee shops. You see, they're putting it in the Louisiana schools. It's a law. Who makes a law to put the 10 commandments in every school? What the fuck? That is overreaching to the limit. But these people, if you try to say, hey, we don't want mass shootings, we don't want the kids in that school shot up, so can we not have bump stocks, or can we just not have the assault rifles? You can keep all your other guns, but you know, the ones that they use in war, can we just not have those? Fucking Republicans lose their shit. They're my guns. You can't touch my guns. You can't tell me what to do with my guns. You can't tell me this. You can't tell me that. It's freedom this, freedom that, freedom, all of the freedom when it comes to their guns and the things that they want. But they are so gun-ho, excuse the pun, on taking away everyone else's fucking freedom. But this is how it starts. It has always started with religion when they were taking freedom away. From the time of enslavement, they told the enslaved Christianity is what they taught them, that God wanted them to be brutalized, that God wanted them enslaved, that this is how God envisioned it. They used Christianity to control people. And that is exactly the old playbook that they're using now. Religion, when most of those motherfuckers don't go to church. Donald Trump does not know a commandment. He knows nothing about church. He knows nothing about God. He knows nothing about the Bible. He has broken every commandment there is. Yes, even thou shalt not murder, because what the fuck did he do with COVID? He knew it was deadly and he lied to people and it got let loose. He let it loose on the people. So they are using Christianity to control all of the sides. The poor people that support the Republicans, right? Brainwashing them into thinking that they're the good Christians and they're great, right? They ain't shit either. And then they're trying to use it to control women. They want to control Black and brown people, right? Because that's a part of it too. It's control. Them commandments there. They want to take Black history out, right? They want to take anything that will educate children, and then they want to put the Bible in there. So then that means that, you'll be okay with the conditions that you're living in, because that is how God wanted it. I mean, it seems crazy, but that's exactly what they're doing. It's like I saw Josh Hawley say some crazy stuff, and then all of a sudden he's like, praying to God. It was just it was like bad acting. Like he had never said God's name before out loud. And all of a sudden he bought himself a cross to put on his necklace. And now he's speaking about God. And speaking about fake ass Christians, let's listen to this.
Right? 2 Corinthians 3:17. That's the whole. Ask some of the folks, because I hear this is a major theme right here. But 2 Corinthians, right? 2 Corinthians 3:17. That's the whole ball game. Where the Spirit of the Lord, right? Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. And here there is Liberty College, but Liberty University. But it is so true. When you think, and that's really. Is that the one? Is that the one you like? I think that's the one you like, because I loved it. And it's so representative of what.
Oh my. 2 Corinthians? What is that? I haven't been to church in a very long time, but I know it's not 2 Corinthians. I do know that. He read it exactly how it was, him reading it for the first time and then acting excited. I love this one. Don't y'all love this one? Y'all love this one? If y'all cheer, I'm going to act like I love it even more. If y'all don't cheer, I'm going to act like, I don't really like this one. Trump is a whole snake oil salesman, and everybody is just up in it. It is so disgusting. Let's read another. I'll wrap it up because I wasn't supposed to be here long. But again, this is year 2 of the ending of Roe, and there are it's just so many impacts, right? Because it's like these women that I'm even reading about, excluding the children, they wanted babies. They wanted their outcomes to be babies. And if you ban abortion, you're banning it in every scenario there is. When you're taking choices away, you're taking it away from everyone. No one is waking up in their 9th month wanting an abortion. That doesn't make any sense. You're making excuses. When you're saying that cancer patients that find themselves pregnant, maybe they thought that they couldn't get pregnant, maybe they were using protection and it didn't work. There are just so many reasons why people get pregnant and they didn't necessarily want to. It just happens because nothing is 100%. They're telling these women, if they're living in red states, that they can't have their chemo treatment. They have to stop chemo treatments, try to petition a court to let them get an abortion so they can restart their chemo. Because if they start the chemo and they have an embryo, and if it harms the embryo, then they can be charged, right, in red states, because this is where we're at right now. This is where we're at. So you're asking a cancer patient to stop their cancer treatment to deal with the court system, to beg and plead. Oh, beg and plead the old white man for help. No shade, white man, but it is the Republican white men that are making these decisions and these choices. So it's like women have to beg old white men who don't even know anything about women's bodies for help. And then they go, no, maybe yes. So our lives are in their hands. The Supreme Court right now is going to rule on, there's a case in front of them from Idaho. So apparently, Idaho will only give an abortion if the woman is near death. Like death is the next step. That's when they can do it. So I guess now they're arguing like, they're being sued because it's like, what do you mean death? You can only do it when she's near death. What exactly does that mean, right? Because your lungs could get taken out, your kidneys could get taken out, your uterus could get messed up, you could become, infertile. Like all these things can happen before death is at the door, right? So there's all these other things that could be hurt within your body before you're at death's door. So what is that? Again, this is how stupid this was, what they did. No thought process. What the frick does that mean? You have to be dying before we get you there. And that's what's happening in Idaho. Women are being sent home. They're saying, come back when you're sicker or when you're almost dead. Let me find this one. Let me see if I can find this one. I know. Bear with me. Like this is just, it's like I've made this analogy before. There's a fire and the fire department comes because you call them because there's some smoke. So you're like, let me call the fire department. There may be, a fire in the walls, and then the fire department goes, Call us when you actually see the flames. Like when the house is fully engulfed, that's when you call us. Don't call us when you see the smoke. That's like what these abortion laws are. You're not sick enough, you're not near dead, so call us back when you're dying. Oh, wait. Your uterus, you're getting sepsis and infection. What's your fever at? No, go home. Go home. Call us when you're sicker. Like, that's the craziest thing ever. Let's see. Here we go. I think. Hold on. There was a particular woman. Here we go. Let's just read this. So, Idaho has had to med flight 6 women in 4 months to get medical treatment in a different state. Idaho allows for abortion to save the life of the pregnant woman only, but not to prevent health decline and deterioration. Read that again. Idaho allows for abortion to save the life of the pregnant woman only, but not to prevent health decline. So her health can continue to decline, but not until she is near death will they give her that abortion. That's why they're med flighting the women out, because they keep sending them home, and then they get so sick they come back to the hospital. Then the hospital's like, whoa, she's too sick to be here. We got to med flight you out. How is this good for the healthcare system? Like, seriously, who's paying for all of this? She had to pay for a med flight? What and why? Because she wanted you to treat her early on, but you wouldn't. Again, the crazy abortion laws, like these things are nuts. There's nothing good coming from it. And we're out here complaining about the economy when everybody's eating, everybody's got a job, everybody's going on vacation. And I heard someone say this today, and it's absolutely true, that Joe Biden has done more for Trump supporters than Trump has ever done. It's true. Christians get abortions too. Republicans get abortions too. Joe Biden is fighting for everyone, and Trump supporters get more of the benefit. Their unemployment is down too. MAGA's out here working. If you got a little retirement, your retirement is doing well. If you have some stocks, your stocks are doing well. You're lying if you're saying they're not, because they are. Biden's getting rid of junk fees, forgiving loans, tackling the credit cards, telling them they can't charge you all these fees over this amount, telling the banks you can't charge overdraft fees over a certain amount. Change these rules, change these laws. He's capping your medications. He's doing more for MAGA than what the head MAGA in chief is doing for them. But that racism and that hate, that's what drives them. Because if Trump had Biden's economy, man, listen, they wouldn't shut up. They wouldn't stop talking about it. Like, that's all that they would talk about. Let's just read a couple more, and then I will wrap it up, because again, this is the second year of Roe being ended, and it's not getting better. It is getting worse. It is getting worse. Did I mention a 10-year-old Ohio rape victim that had to flee the state because they wouldn't let her get an abortion either? And Jim Jordan actually act like it didn't happen, just like the sexual assault at Ohio State. Yeah, like that didn't happen either. But yeah, he just ignored that little girl. Matter of fact, I think he said she lied, or the family lied. Is one of them. I'm just looking for another story. Yeah, let's read this one. I'm alone and scared. Where is my mom? I want to live. The last words of Jennifer Alvarez Estrada. In Yini's 7th week of pregnancy, her health began to deteriorate rapidly. Yini was at high risk for complications due to her premorbid conditions. At 7 weeks, she presented to a Catholic hospital with trouble breathing. She was eventually transferred to the OBGYN, who noted Yini was at risk for having a heart attack or stroke. No doctor even suggested terminating the pregnancy, even though Yini was becoming progressively worse as the pregnancy went on. No one suggested it. Why? Because she was at a Catholic hospital. Yini was finally transferred to a larger hospital. Again, it was never suggested that the pregnancy be terminated. Yini died at 29 years old because options were never given. She was never given a choice. Her medical report noted high risk for clinical decompensation, death. Texas failed Yini. They failed her because that should have been an option. If the pregnancy is causing her health to deteriorate, but then you don't give that as an option, do we understand how many women are going to die if this is banned nationally? You're not safe in your blue states. Your daughters are not safe. They're not safe. Not having sex is just not an option. That's not a thing. You can't tell your teens or just don't have, they're not. That's not how that works. They may have it. They may get raped. You want options when you go out to eat, you get options. They're trying to have a world where there are just no options. It's what they say and what they give us. That's the option. Have babies. That's what they want, right? It's like, everything is related. And people aren't paying enough attention to all of the things that are related, because you have to think, if we don't have enough immigrants coming to our country, then that means that we don't have a workforce. So we have to have comprehensive immigration, whereas, we can get them here legally working and paying into the system. That is a good thing. Of course, we don't want them running across the border and here illegally, or not even illegally, but without going through the proper channels. Like, that's what we don't want. But we are a nation of immigrants. And the only immigrants that Republicans talk about are the brown ones, right? There are people, I'm pretty sure, from Russia and from other countries that are non-brown, that are probably overstaying their visas and things like that, but we just don't talk about them. But the point is, if we don't have immigration, then we don't have them paying the billions of dollars that they pay into Social Security, because they pay into it. It's billions of dollars. If we don't have them, we lose that. So we need them. But Trump and Stephen Miller are talking about deporting 11 million immigrants. They just want to deport. They just want to deport. I heard him. I heard him on This Weekend. One of the architects of 2025. He's just like, there's 11 million. They're all committing crime. They gotta go. You're not safe either. Y'all voting? Brown people? Y'all voting for Trump? He wants you gone too. He wants you gone as well. And he will massage those laws, and that you may find yourself caught up in a deportation back to your country. The people you don't even know. Y'all playing around with this man. You act like he likes Black and brown people. Man, Trump don't care. They know what they're envisioning, and it's not to have Black and brown people in this country prospering. That's not a vision for them. Well, they let some prosper, the ones that they can prop up and who are very obedient. Absolutely. Other than that, do they want that? No, they don't want that. That's why they're out here getting rid of grants to Black businesses. Black women businesses get 0.1% of grants for entrepreneurs. 0.1. White men get 90%. However, they sued the white men because they said that the Black grants to the Black women is against their civil rights. So they should be able to get those grants too. So the 90% is not enough for them. They need more. And that is the moral of this story. They just want more. If they get a little, they just want more. Corporations, what do you think is going on with the corporations? Corporations are doing well. Right now, corporations and companies are fucking profiting like crazy because Biden's economy is booming and they freaking know it. They are making money hand over foot over hand over foot. With that being said, do you think that they would vote for Joe Biden? No, because even though they're making a ton of money under Joe Biden, he's not going to cut their taxes. They want it all. They're not trickling nothing down to you. They want it all. So because he wants to make it fair and equitable, and he wants to cut the regular person's taxes, those corporations are pissed. That's why Trump went to them and begged them for money. What do you need? $1 billion. Okay, you're going to lower my taxes? Yes. Yes, he's going to lower their taxes. He said it. He's going to lower their taxes. That's the goal. That's the plan. He said it a million times. I'm going to lower your taxes. That's what they want. So on top of that, like they will sacrifice and have a mediocre economy if they get to pay no taxes on their millions and billions of dollars. That's ultimately their goal, and the deregulations, right? So they want to not only make all of the money, pay no taxes while we pay all the taxes, but they also want to kill us with like their friggin' coal and toxins that they want to throw in our backyards. They just want to do what they want to do. And Trump doesn't care, because if you thought that he will sell our, country's secrets to another country, he'll sell us out too. Why wouldn't he? He doesn't care. He doesn't care. That's really it. They don't friggin' care. So keep complaining about the economy. Meanwhile, if he's forcing you to have children, you're not going to be able to eat anyway. So figure it out, because I would prefer to pay a little bit more money for cereal than to have my daughters without the freedom to choose what to do with their own bodies. And it's so deep because now, under the guise of, oh, abortion's banned here, Planned Parenthood is just being gutted out and destroyed. And Planned Parenthood wasn't just a place where abortions happen. Like, they don't even do that right away. It's like a whole process. If you go in there and you say that you want an abortion, they're not like, okay, let's hit it. That's not how that works. That is a Republican myth, right? So people who choose to have an abortion for whatever reasons, they already have children, they're not married, one night stand, condom broke, mental illness, all of these, whatever, when they walk into that clinic and they ask for that, they are put into, and I know, right? Put into a room to have questions, and your psych is almost like a psych evaluation. Why do you want this? Give us the reasons. Fill this out. Let's talk. Here are the options: adoption, this, that, X, Y, Z. Then you take your test, see how far along you are, how much time you have, and they send your ass home to think on it and then come back. It's a process. Republicans lie. They're the ones that they project and they lie. It's like Democrats are really thought out, calm. Republicans are the ones out here. I mean, think I just read, what's this guy? Was he a pastor of some church? Oh, how did I forget this? Donald Trump's spiritual advisor, Pastor Morris. How did I forget this guy? Raping a 12-year-old. Had sex with her when she was 12 years old. Then tried to hide it. She's been trying to tell people for the past decade. He just stepped down. He was Trump's spiritual advisor. He's also a rapist. Big surprise. Because what they do is project Democrats, they're groomers. Right? Meanwhile, they're literally telling us that they're grooming our children. The church, the police officers, it ain't the drag queens. It's them. They're doing it. But they want you to think something else. And all these MAGA people that support them, a lot of them are trash too. That's why they're okay with it. They're like criminals, racists, bigots, rapists, right? They see themselves within the Republican Party. That's why they support it. We are better than that. We can do better than that. We have to come out and vote. We can't be there. We can't do this. We cannot. Can I read 2 more stories? Let me read 2 more stories because, again, we are here because it is the 2-year anniversary of the end of Roe, and it is significant. And I think when it happened 2 years ago, I knew that it would be bad, but I never knew to this extent. Like, there are scenarios that I never even thought of. Like, I just never even thought that anyone would force someone to stop having cancer treatments, to stop chemo because they were pregnant. Like, my mind would not have thought that 2 years ago. I wouldn't have envisioned so many children being impacted and having to go to different states. I wouldn't have envisioned that. I wouldn't envision women walking around with dead fetuses until they expel them. It's just wouldn't have in a million years. I just wouldn't have, like, I knew it was bad and I knew some bad stuff was going to happen, but nothing could have prepared me for the amount of pain and suffering that women are going through right now, and girls. Let's read a couple more stories and then I will wrap it up. Let's see. Just want to find two more stories. Wait. Oh, here we go. There's one. JC Staten was told to sit in the parking lot to be close to the emergency room until she was actively crashing in front of them or on the verge of a heart attack. Soon after JC learned she was pregnant, she began experiencing pain, dizziness, and severe nausea. She subsequently learned that she had a partial molar pregnancy, a non-viable pregnancy that can cause hemorrhaging, infection, and death if left untreated. JC and her husband went to the University of Oklahoma Medical Center. She was in severe pain, but the staff would not provide abortion care. They moved her to the Oklahoma Children's Hospital. JC and her husband begged staff to perform an abortion. They even requested to speak to the ethics board and explain why JC should be permitted to access life-saving care. Again, through it all, JC's health is deteriorating to the point that her husband is begging the hospital staff to give his wife an abortion so she doesn't fucking die. The staff again said she could not receive an abortion until she was basically near death and to go sit in the parking lot. JC's condition significantly worsened, prompting the couple to flee the state to receive an abortion. They traveled 3 hours by car while JC was experiencing a medical emergency. Like, it's just like one lawmaker was like, well, if they're miscarrying, they could just hop on a bus and go on to another state. I mean, like, it just leaves you speechless and it leaves you breathless that humans could be this cruel and disconnected from it. And it leaves you speechless because they know that Trump is unhinged. They've heard him at his last few rallies talking babble nonsense, but they will vote for him because tax cuts, power, like all of that supersedes JC. All of that supersedes the raped children being forced to have babies. It just, all of it supersedes. They don't care about any of this. One more story, and then I'm going to say goodnight because this is just making my stomach hurt. Here's one. At 20 weeks, Kylie Beaton's fetus was diagnosed with something, a long word that I can't understand and I cannot pronounce. The two hemispheres of the brain don't properly divide. Babies with this diagnosis are often stillborn or die soon after birth. Since Kylie wasn't severely ill and because the fetus had a heartbeat, Texas forced her to carry the fetus to term. Kylie and her husband tried to have an abortion out of state. However, the fetus's head was enlarged due to its condition, and the only clinic that would perform the abortion charged up to $15,000. Kylie gave birth to Grant. The baby cried constantly and wouldn't eat. It couldn't be held upright as that would put too much pressure on its head. For 4 days, Kylie watched Grant suffer. Then she watched him die. That's the story. That's just, it's what I've been reading, right? It's the women are suffering, or the babies that the so-called Republicans care about. Like, hey, are Republicans calling any of these women to see how they're doing? Have Republicans called these women? Have Republicans offered to pay for the funerals of these babies that were born, gasped for air, suffocated, and died in front of their parents? Are Republicans donating to any of these funds? Are they helping with these medical expenses? No, they're just forcing women to have babies. That is the goal. It's the forcing, it's the power. It's not the helping. There's no God in this. God is nowhere involved in this, because if there's a God, God would not want so much suffering of his children. Not like this, not preventable. This is man forcing their fellow humans to suffer. That's what you have in the Republican Party. Again, hey, think about it, right? Stop thinking about Joe Biden. It's old. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? You want your freedom or not? You want your freedom or not? You want a rapist telling you when you should have a baby? What if you're like 50 years old? You thought you couldn't have any more kids. Then you get pregnant. Got your local lawmaker telling you, nope, sorry. I don't care if you're 50, 55 years old. Oh, you thought menopause was done? No, I'm sorry. We're going to force you to have a baby. You know how risky that is? How risky it is to be in your 50s and one carrying a pregnancy and then delivering? So that's really, we're going to see if Trump is pregnant. This is going to be crazy, because we're already in the South, across the South, we are going to see very young mothers and we're going to see very old mothers. That's what we're going to see. It's going to be really bad. But anyway, good night, everyone. Check out the debate on Thursday. We will have much to talk about. I will also see you tomorrow on the Black and White show with Brian Rundo. Brian, I see you there. Thank you for popping in. I just decided to do a quick show, which didn't turn out to be quick. I'm so sorry. On the 2-year anniversary of Trump ending Roe. It is Trump's abortion ban, and don't you guys forget it. I will talk to you later, and have a good night. Bye-bye.